knows if you've been.
What was that?
What the fuck?
This is real life.
Not a creature was left living.
Hello and welcome to Real 9. I'm DungeonDan.
And I'm Creepy Uncle Kevin.
And this is our Christmas horror show.
We're celebrating the day that Christ died. Is this the day that he died or that he got up? Or that he was born?
It's supposed to be the celebration of his birth, but then again, so is Easter.
Okay. So
I
he was
would-
born...
I would think Halloween would be celebrating when he came back as a zombie. That's for all you Christians out there.
Man.
You're worshiping a zombie.
Right. Speaking of worshiping zombies, so obviously this is the Christmas special, and this is a horror show. Gosh, we were talking about one of the great Christmas zombie kind of things is The Saint, right? Or is it just called Saint?
Well, the American release is called Saint. The original title is Sint, which is Dutch for saint. I'm just trying to impress you with my knowledge.
that was probably the best you've done in a few podcasts, man.
I know.
You were correct. You're going to get a bing for that one. Yeah, that movie's badass. Even though we're supposed to talk about all horror films, but that one's like the only one that's it's a little spooky, right?
It is. It's spooky, and for me, he is more of a zombie than anything. But he's like a murderous bastard, and he rides this big ass horse with red eyes, and he just goes through a town and starts killing people. And the movie, to be honest with you, I didn't really, when I first heard about it, I was excited, but at the same time, it's like, how long can this movie be? It really felt like it went on a long time because, you know, the guy's trying to kill this thing just kept fucking up. And of course, he has evil fucking elves running all amok, and they're not pretty at all. They're not those little cute little fuckers you see on Christmas cards. These guys are like little fucking ghouls. It was great. My favorite movie.
Check it out. What does it say right here? A horror film that depicts St. Nicholas as a murderous bishop who kidnaps and murders children on the full moon of December 5th. That's right. He comes back every certain amount of years or something, right?
Yeah, every
December 5th.
Yeah, exactly. I so thought you were going to call him a murderous bitch.
This murderous little bitch.
Instead of bishop.
That bitch.
St. Nicholas, the murderous bitch who kidnaps and murders children.
And then, like, they have some sort of different Christmas beliefs or something because he has this little sidekick with blackface on named St. Peter. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, I don't know anything
Something
about
that
that either.
Yo.
But he was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It was
They were
funny
all
looking.
cool.
Speaking of cool Christmas horror films, we just saw, I would say it's one of the best films that I've seen of 2017. Better Watch Out. What'd you think of it, Dan?
I actually liked it. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's actually worthy of 3.5 to 4 stars easy.
Right.
I wasn't expecting it because I swear I had read someplace that this was like a Home Alone horror movie, and it's completely not. Not in any sense.
Well, that's one of the things, and we actually like this movie so much that we're not going to spoil it for you. And if you guys listen to us, then you know that we love that shit. So that means a lot. Because
it's a Christmas gift.
The trailer got me too, and I just thought it was going to be a great home invasion movie. I was very excited about it because it's the second film from director, what's his name, Chris Peckover. And as I said, it's only his second movie. His first movie was called Undocumented, and it came out in 2010. It's also co-written by the same guy. What's that guy's name? Zach Kahn. They both seem to co-write these movies, and he directed both of them. And Undocumented is a very controversial movie. It's about this LA documentary film crew that accompanies a group of illegal aliens that are crossing the border. And once they cross the border, they're abducted by a group that calls themselves the Patriots in New Mexico that takes them into this compound and basically tortures them and kills them because they're illegal immigrants. And but they do it in a really weird kind of hostile way. Like the film does remind me of Hostel because it's like that's torture gore kind of porn thing. But they question him like if they know anything about American heritage or if they are worthy to be American citizens. And it's like really scary because we don't know the answers to the questions that they ask them. You know, they're all like tied up and they're just like, oh, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. And if you don't know, they kill you.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, they're asking like, how many representatives are in Congress?
7,602.
I don't fucking know either. Who originally said, give me liberty or give me death? K? No Nintendo? Fuck you. You don't respect America, you fucking... Oh! whoa, this movie's intense. And, they do, so drug smugglers, they get special treatment and they get tortured even worse.
Caramba! It's that Speedy Gonzalez again.
If there are people that if there are American citizens that need organs, then they'll actually take out, like, your kidney from the Mexican and let him live, but he'll slowly die.
Por favor.
And they're just like, oh, well, your reward is that you get to live, but you ain't going to last too long, bro. Ha, 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 ha. And then they fucking shove bags of cocaine back in him and stitch him up.
And send him back.
Por favor.
I believe they send him back or they just let him die there. It's really fucked up. And the guy who plays the leader of the Patriots is, his name's Peter Stormare. He's the actor from Fargo and Constantine and Big Lebowski. They got one name in there. And it's a really trippy movie. And the poster's kind of offensive, too. It just has Uncle Sam. And I think it goes, "We want you out of our country." Or something like that. Or, "We want you dead." It was just like, oh, I got to see this. And, so that was made in 2010. And for some reason, nobody gave him money to make another movie after that.
Wow. Wonder
so,
why.
Yeah, fucking
I'm not liked in Washington.
6 years later, Better Watch Out came out, and that movie didn't even get released until 2017. And this is like a home invasion movie about, I guess, some 12-year-old kid who's being left home alone for the holidays, and he's with this hot, I think she's 17-year-old babysitter.
Yeah, it's his babysitter for, like, most of his youth.
Most of his life.
So he's in love with her.
Yeah, he's all dick on hard for her.
She's like twice our age.
Yeah, he gets to be home alone with her.
I really don't think it's gonna
On
happen.
Christmas, so he starts getting weird ideas, and then all of a sudden his buddy shows up, and then all of a sudden a home invasion situation starts to happen, and these three kids are trapped in a weird situation, and that's where we can't really talk anymore.
No, you give away any more that
Right.
you can't. This is a movie. We just have to leave it alone as it is.
Yeah, and just from the director's past credit and seeing the trailer as a lead up to a home invasion movie, I was set. I just was like, hell yeah, I'm going to fasten my seatbelts and watch this. I can't wait to see this movie. And then they just completely flipped it. And
You're not going to see it coming.
Shocked. Yep, I didn't see it coming. Even with us saying you're not going to see it coming, even if you do see it coming, there's going to be something else that happens. And you go, yeah, I didn't see that part coming.
It comes roaring at you.
No, there's a lot of this movie I didn't see coming. I was just like,
Your time has come.
because I was expecting something different. And when it all happened, I'm just like, fuck me.
Yeah, I think you finished it before me or something, and I called you, and I was like halfway through, and I was like, I'm at this part. And you said, just wait. And I thought, how is it going to get weirder? I mean, there's nothing else they can do. That was the big twist.
Kind of throws us back to when we watched Kidnapped. And I kept calling you up saying, this movie is so fucking stupid. And you're like, just wait.
Just wait, yeah.
And this was the reversal. He calls me up and he's like, dude, I'm halfway through it. And I'm like, oh, God, it's coming. It's coming. Just hold on. You're not going to expect it.
Yeah, guys, Better Watch Out. Total cult classic. It's just going to be a staple of home invasion. I love that they flipped the genre around. And you guys got to check it out. I give it 4 stars out of 5. One of the best movies I saw out of 2017. It's been a bad year. I was kind of afraid that, like, The Lure was going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. And then finally this came out. I hope a few more do.
I don't know, dude. First I gave it a 3.5, but just the fact that they did a flip that I wasn't expecting, I'll give it that extra, 0.5. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 as well.
Yeah, that's why I do, because of the script.
Yeah,
It was
it was
smart.
brilliant. It was brilliant, and it's not a huge budget movie.
Right.
So, kudos to these guys. They popped this one out.
And I can't wait to watch it again. I've only seen it once, and I've heard from people that see it for a second time that there's other things that happen that they didn't notice, things in the background that kind of, I don't know. I haven't seen it for a second time, but I heard it's better. 'Cause
Oh,
you know
really?
the twist. Yeah.
Well, I might have to rewatch it again then too, because I notice a lot of different things, but obviously I missed some stuff.
Yeah, but first viewing, I'd definitely give it 4. I was blown away. I mean, maybe the twist would kind of fade after first, second viewing, I thought, but I've heard it was better. Yeah, check it out, guys. Thumbs up.
Yep, me too.
What other movies do you think about when you think of Christmas horror films, Dan?
Well, I think of horror films at every month of the year, but
Freak.
one of my favorites I actually saw, I'd say, I think it came out 2 years ago, but Christmas Horror Story.
Classic.
Yeah, I mean, this movie had everything I could possibly want. Zombie elves, Santa Claus trying to beat the shit out of Krampus, and we had William Shatner as the wraparound between all the different things that are going on in this town. and he, of course, he's a radio host, and he's drinking his hardcore
getting
liquor,
drunk.
and he's getting drunk because I guess every Christmas, all this bad shit happens in this town. So he's all like, here we go again.
Right.
Might as well get drunk.
I can stop drinking.
No, that's a great movie. Seeing Santa Claus finally fight Krampus is awesome.
Right, because we've never had the two before that I know of. We've either had, we have a slew of Krampus movies now, and we have another one coming out. There's one that's on the $10 rack in Walmart right now called Mama Krampus. Sorry, I'm just not spending the $10.
Right. That does not sound good.
What's a Krampus?
He's like an anti-Santa Claus, a demon who punishes the naughty. He whips them, chains them up, stuff like that.
That's fine.
And we even had a high-budget Krampus come out about 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, in the theater, and that wasn't bad.
I was actually a little disappointed in Krampus.
Which one? Because I've
The
seen
big budget
4.
one. I mean, actually, all of them. How about that? I haven't seen it
Okay.
really. I mean, except for A Christmas Horror Story. I think A Christmas Horror Story is the best Krampus movie.
I believe so too.
Which is
and
kind of weak to say because it's only like a 30-minute episode, right?
Yeah, he's not in it. He doesn't make his entrance until the end.
Yeah, he's only in it for a few minutes.
But whoever, I forgot what fucked things up for Christmas for Santa, but he only has so much time to get out there and start doing this thing before Krampus wakes up and takes over. So, do you remember what happened? What made things go wrong? Because I just remember, every time he tried to get out, something new attacked him.
I just remember those elves attacking him, and he's like in a farm or something. I don't know.
It's the elves. I fear they may all become infected.
Those fucking
Battling
elves
with Krampus.
turning into zombies was just awesome.
Well, the makeup on this Krampus was better, I think, in the other ones, and he looked more horrific in this one.
Yeah, he was scary. And again, this was actually the first time I'd ever seen a Krampus anything. So that was my first introduction to what Krampus should look like.
Right.
How he looks in some of the I think there's 2 or 3 low budget ones that came out direct to DVD. He doesn't really look that terrifying.
Those are so awful, man. I tried to watch
Yeah.
some of those. Jesus.
They're bad. They're
What a
bad.
mess.
The big budget one, there's a lot of problems in the story.
There are some
But
moments
it
that
was
are really
better.
kick-ass. I think I just wish it would have been focused more on the Krampus thing.
It was all about the family. It was
Yeah.
like watching a Stephen King horror. It's all about
Didn't
the family
they
and the
have
kids.
like the gingerbread men attacked and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like getting too far. I don't know.
This is Krampus, right?
It went a little too far on some aspects. I mean, I did get a big kick out of the gingerbread guy with a knife. That I think it was the mom stabbed the cookie guy
Right.
and stuck him to the fridge. I thought that was beautiful.
I unfortunately watched Christmas Evil. Have you seen that one?
I have not watched that.
It's really bad. John Waters calls it the best Christmas movie, but he's just saying that because he thinks he's funny, which he is. But yeah,
is that?
it's like.
Is
so
that
this
the new one?
No, this is in 1980.
Oh,
And
okay.
it opens with this kid, and he sees he's sitting there with his brother or some shit, and then Santa Claus comes down, and he's with his mom, and she's like, "Oh look, Santa Claus is there," and he's eating the cookies and drinking the milk, and his mom's like, "See, I told you, Santa Claus would be glad we left him cookies." And then the kids go to bed, and then the kid comes back downstairs, and he sees Santa Claus eating out his mom downstairs.
Like sexually?
Yeah, like eating her, and his face is in her vagina, dude. And what's weird about it is she's standing upright and he's down, like he'd be giving a guy head. I don't know how many girls stand up straight when someone's trying to eat their pussy, but it looks
I've
weird,
I don't
especially
know.
dressed up. I'm just like, there's a chair right there, there's floor.
You'll feel better.
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know if I just because I have back problems, but I've never experienced that. She's like, I'll just stand. So I don't know if that's what creeped out the kid, but apparently this fucked up the kid for life.
Dude,
then
you just fucked me up for life. I can't unhear this.
Well, then he's like, then he can't look at Santa Claus away, and he starts going crazy, and he starts having a drinking problem.
I can stop drinking.
And he's working at this toy factory, and then they cut his hours or some shit, and then he dresses up as Santa Claus, and gets drunk, and kills everyone.
But if you're bad boys and girls, your name goes in the bad boys and girls book, and I'll bring you something horrible.
It's not well made.
Nope.
It's not the justification's pretty bad. I think he super glues the fucking beard to his face. It is kind of cool that he walks around with these toy soldiers that he builds at his work. and they have little knives. Of course, these toys have really sharp knives on them.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you can be like giving it to a guy in front of a church and stab him in the eye with it.
I have something for you.
And he hits them all with axes. The movie sucks,
I have superlative taste.
except the ending. And this is a spoiler, but it doesn't matter because this movie sucks and you're not going to watch it. But the ending does have, he's getting shot by all these people and he's driving away in a fury after he just murdered a bunch of people. And he just drives over this cliff and the fucking van takes off and flies into the moon. And he's just laughing. And then the narration goes like, and to all a good night kind of thing.
Oh my
He's
God,
just laughing. That's the end.
No wonder John Waters liked it.
Yeah, and
He's
I
got
tried
a
it. Like, I
weird
looked it up
taste.
afterwards, going, why do people tell me to watch this movie? And I guess the ending had a lot of speculation, you know, because some people were like, oh, is that real? Is he really fucking Santa Claus? Did he really get powers? Or is that just his mind? I don't know.
Well, that's a good question, but, you know,
Right.
if I was going to hallucinate, I sure to hell wouldn't fly a fucking van.
Right. He's got this white murderous van. Yeah, it's a really bad movie.
Well, another movie that always hits my mind, and I have seen the original and the remake, would be Black Christmas.
Oh, I love Black Christmas.
Yeah, it was, you know, even the original 74, that was a really good one. It was kind of a he's in the house type of deal.
They got a trace on this one.
You know, the girl's getting creepy calls. Everybody is away from college because of, you know, it's the holidays.
Yeah.
There's just this one sorority there. You know, and I'm sorry I'm spoiling the shit, but it turns out to where
that
somebody
scenario.
figures out.
The calls are coming from the house.
Yeah, the scenario of, oh my God, he's in the house. The phone
Right.
call is coming from the house.
Yes, the caller is in the house.
Yeah.
That type of thing. But I can't remember if the remake was far bloodier than the original, but the remake, that one's pretty gory. That was
I did not
unique.
like the remake, but that's
No?
because I love the original.
Black Christmas, starring Olivia Hussey, Keir Dullea, Margot Kidder, and starring John Saxon as Lieutenant Fuller. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
And I saw the original when I was really young, and it scared the shit out of me, mostly because of the sound. That guy's
Yeah.
voice on the phone creeped the crap out of me when I was a kid, and it still is effectively scary when I rewatch that movie.
Oh yeah, it's frightening. They really did a good job on the you know, how his voice sounded.
And
But
it
for me, the big
also
scene.
is dealing with abortion a lot, isn't it?
I
first movie?
think the character, the lead girl was pregnant.
Yeah,
not telling
something
anybody.
about the baby, and he just keeps doing all this stuff about the baby.
I think there was a relation. I think there was a dude, I haven't watched it for a long time, so if I'm
Yeah,
wrong,
I
just
believe
give me
the
a big old
killer-
buzz.
Right, the killer and her are related or something.
They're
I think she's
related.
The buzz is back.
trying to have an abortion, and he's gonna fucking kill her.
For Christ's sakes, Nash, you got it wrong. That's where the calls are going into.
That's where they're coming from, too, sir.
Yeah, Billy doesn't like that.
But yeah, there's all the sound effects.
The poster was outstanding. You know,
Yeah.
the chick that had the bag put over her head and she was killed. That was on the poster, the original '79 poster, and the poster was scary to look at.
Right.
And
And
then
that kill
scene
scene was scary as hell too.
Fuck yeah, it was. Even in the remake, they did it so well. You're just like, damn.
Yeah, it makes you breathe. You're like gasping for air when you see it. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one of the most horrifying things, in that for some reason in the movie, was when she is walking around and I believe she's seeing everyone murdered in all the bedrooms, kind of like in Halloween.
Almost like
but
in
Halloween
Halloween.
came out later. Actually, did you know that John Carpenter fucking said that he was influenced by Black Christmas?
Really?
For Halloween, yeah.
Well, now is John Carpenter going to do what he does to everybody else
right,
and make them? You know, he's going to have to pay them now.
He's got to go
'cause
give
he
Bob
admitted
Clark
it.
some money. But,
Yeah, I didn't. I did not know that, but you know, now that we have the two films to compare, the two very are like that. When they're going through the house and she's just finding all of her friends dead, different rooms or in the kitchen or whatever.
Oh, please answer
But the thing of what I was saying was actually one of the creepiest parts that I remember. She's finding all the people dead in that room, and then she looks over and the door's open, and between the creak of the door where the door actually opens, like the door hinges, you can see the killer's eyes staring at her because he's hiding behind the door.
As you're opening the door, the gap by the hinges gets bigger, and we get to see his eye. They lit it so you see his eye looking.
Yeah, and they do the zoom in, totally like an Argento 70s Italian giallo kind of zoom in.
It was very
shot.
giallo.
Yeah,
that was a brilliant shot.
You
and
see
it was
it,
creepy.
and then the chase game begins. It's freaking awesome.
Let me just throw this out there for all of you younger folks. I mean, Kevin, it's not like Kevin and I are ancient, but this movie might not scare you, but back in 1979, it had me pissing my pants.
You know, I don't know if it will.
I was a kid.
If it will scare them now, because it's cell phones now.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, do you think if you were raised with cell phones, you just couldn't relate to this movie, and you just think, wow, those old times must have been crazy?
But in the remake, they had cell phones, and I forget why they didn't work.
Right.
Probably the big storm. Storm fucked up the towers or something.
The remake's done from the writer of Final Destination and the director of Willard.
Well, that kind of makes some sense because
yeah, it totally makes sense.
It was very Final Destination-ish.
Yeah.
Is that a word? So, give me another movie. Give me one that you think about.
Well, of course, the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. We're gonna have to touch on that at some point.
I knew somebody's going to bring it up.
That's probably the first go-to. That one and Black Christmas would be what I think of first. Even though I think if I was born later, or like closer to now, it would be probably A Christmas Horror Story should be the one for the new generation.
Yeah.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, when did that come out? 84? I saw that when I was young.
87, I think. Oh, no, 84 was the first one.
Yeah.
87 was the second one.
I remember seeing that video cover a lot before I was able to rent it because I was still pretty young, and finally getting to see it. And one of my biggest memories is boobs.
And everyone knows I'm not really a bosom man like all those Americans.
Yep.
As I was young as hell, and that movie, I got to see good 80s boobs shot on 35mm film there, or whatever it was, and it. I just remember that was my introduction to Linnea Quigley, and I did not know that I would know that woman's name from that point on.
Well, you know what? I never realized that was her.
Right.
My first introduction to her was, of course, Return of the Living Dead. But now that before we started this podcast, I took a moment. I went back to Silent Night, Deadly Night, and you can see that scene on YouTube, and I just saw like, damn.
Yeah, the scene that he's talking about is Santa Claus picks up Linnea Quigley while she's topless and impales her on what is it?
Antlers,
deer antlers that are on the wall. It's pretty rad. It's a pretty awesome kill.
Even by today's standards, it's just something.
So Silent Night, Deadly Night is about three family, mother and father take their kid to go see their grandpa over at the retirement home. And, of course, the grandpa scares the living shit out of the kid, telling him some creepy-ass story about Santa Claus, about him punishing the kids who are bad. And then they leave the retirement home, and they see a Santa Claus on the side of the street, I think, like asking for help or he needs a ride, and they pull over.
Need a ride, Santa Claus? Oh, no, not exactly.
He kills the father, rapes the mom, and kills her, and the kid gets away, and he's, of course, traumatized. Then he goes to some crazy... like nun boarding school where they beat the fuck out of him because he's traumatized.
All Ricky ever wanted was a little
right.
Like he sees the nuns screwing and they beat the fuck out of him, and every time he does something bad, they beat the fuck out of him.
Well, that's what nuns do.
So then he gets out of boarding school and he gets a job, like unloading boxes or something at some sort of store. And then Christmas comes and they ask him to dress up as Santa. Like,
he's finally over it, and now he's Santa.
Now, I mean, why doesn't he just go, hey, man, I got to tell you a fucked up story, and I'm not for this. You know?
I'm not good with this.
My
stop
mom
hugging me.
was raped and murdered by a guy dressed up like Santa. I'm not doing it. In fact, I might need some sick leave, you know?
Right.
Instead, he just takes the job, takes the gig, and freaking dresses up like Santa Claus and goes crazy.
Nothing like a fucking psycho in a Santa suit.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this, because I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
Was the kid on the toboggan that gets his head lopped off by Santa Claus as he's going down the little snow trackway? Is that on the first movie or the second?
That's on the first movie.
That is on the first. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a scene that That was a new horror to me right there. I never seen, and as a kid we had a toboggan, so naturally when it was all snowy outside, I didn't want to ride it because I figured somebody's gonna lop my head off. Not a lot you could do, to get out of the way. But they made like 5 of those damn movies.
Yeah, there's 5 of them, and I think the last 2 are unrelated. It's really weird that the first, I guess, 3 are. So part two is a trip because, like, I wouldn't recommend it, but you can literally watch part 1 in part 2 because there's that many fucking flashbacks to part 1. They just show all the kills and all the scenes from part 1. I think like half the movie or
half
one third of the movie. Yeah, it's
repeating.
1.
Yeah. So if you watch part 2, you're actually watching 1 and 2 together.
Right.
The ultimate nightmare is about to begin. All over again. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2.
Hey, you little bastard!
Because they literally show every kill.
Except part 2 is so bad that it kind of brings down part 1 when you're watching part 1 and part 2 mixed together. But part 2 is so bad that you kind of, it's enjoyable because of that, if you're into that kind of crap.
Garbage day!
He's going to get it.
That's the last one I ever saw. I never saw 3, 4, and 5.
I saw 3 and 4, unfortunately. So yeah, in part 2, it's still the same boy. What's his name? Ricky or something? Yeah, his name's Ricky.
Is it Ricky?
So, yeah, then he's an adult. Jesus. And then what? Like in part 3, he reawakens and from a coma, I don't know, dude, and starts killing. Then there's part 4. See, part 4 is directed by Brian Usna, the guy who made Bride of Reanimator Society.
Yeah.
And that's unrelated. That's about like a cult of witches that kidnap some girl and they're going to kill her on Christmas Eve.
Really?
And then
that's a far detour.
Yeah, that's not related to Ricky at all, and poor Ricky's life. Very concerning.
Yeah, but how many movies do we need where he wakes up out of a coma or something and just starts going back to killing? I mean, it does get boring at some point.
Right.
So what the fuck's 5 about?
Hey, I'm looking at part 3 right here because I have a list of this stuff, and it has Bill Moseley credited in it.
Really?
Yeah, that's a trip.
I don't know how many films he did prior to
What's
Texas
that noise,
Chainsaw Massacre
Dan?
2. Santa Claus and his deer coming down here to fucking slay me.
Okay.
No, that's the dog walking on the laminate floor.
I see. Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker. An elderly toy maker and his son make killer toys designed to kill their customers.
Puppet Master.
Co-written by Brian Usna. Fucker.
I can pass on those. The last 2, I'll pass.
Right.
Actually, 3 through 5, I'm glad I haven't watched them.
I don't know. I'm going to go try and figure out this Initiation one. It sounds pretty good. Directed by Brian Usna. I'll check it out. Cult of Witches. Got to sacrifice some girl or person for a ceremony on Christmas. Sounds good.
I guess she was on the naughty list.
Right. There's also the other one, Rare Exports.
I was just about to ask you about that. Creepy Uncle Kevin told me about this, 3 weeks ago, and I still haven't watched it.
I'm not going to be ignored, Dan.
I did finally find it online, but I haven't watched it, and it sounds really cool. So since I haven't seen it, take it over.
Oh, great. Well, let's see. It's almost one of the greatest ones, or one of the better sort of horror takes on Christmas, but it's not really that gory, guys. I gotta let you know that. It's kind of like, and it's not that scary for the entire time. So what happens in it is that, let's see, here's what IMDb says. In the depths of I can't even say that, something mountains, somewhere in Finland. So basically, that doesn't even make sense. Basically, somewhere in Finland, 486 miles down, it's like The Thing or something. They're all, we found something underneath the snow. What is it? And they're doing this huge dig, and it's Santa Claus has been buried underneath the snow for hundreds of years.
We found something else than just plain rocks and dirt.
And they dig him up, and he's not a good guy. He's this like crazy ass Krampus demon. And they're trying to thaw him off. And he has like all these kind of like, they're not elves, but crazy other little Santa Claus guys that run amok. And so it's kind of trippy because for a large part of the time you think that they kind of have Santa Claus locked up, but it's actually one of his evil people. You know, that's Santa
Okay.
Claus, but it's not. And then there's this really long time before the actual Santa Claus shows up.
We have Santa Claus.
But there's so many weird jokes for the Christmas holiday and stuff that they do at Deers. It's just a cult classic, and it's really weird. Once they finally get Giant Santa out
How
of
big
there,
is
he's
he?
like freaking 2 stories.
Holy shit!
But he's just a big ice cube, Dan. So
Oh, are you including the ice cube around
Yeah, you don't
him,
really
or-
get to see him, you know, and it's more about his little like Santa Claus lookalike guys that are running around.
He knows if you've been bad or good. And he doesn't give up.
I don't know. I got to rewatch it too. But,
It sounds
it's called-
Rare exports, a Christmas tale.
It's not so much of a horror film. It's more of this kind of like a fantasy film with horrific elements. I guess kind of like a grim fairy tale version of Christmas. You know, it doesn't seem like it went for the complete horror thing. But yeah, I recommend it. Rare Exports. You can find it on Shudder right now anyway.
Oh, it's on Shudder.
Yep.
Okay.
The other Christmas movie, of course, is Tales from the Crypt, the original 1972 movie that has that one story.
The first story, the killer Santa Claus.
Yeah, now is that just a deranged Santa Claus, or does she know that woman?
No, this you got to remember this was back in the 70s, so this was just your typical. You heard it on the radio.
A man described as a homicidal maniac has escaped from the hospital for the criminally insane and may be wearing a Santa Claus costume taken from a shop in Burley.
Obviously, he's killed somebody in a Santa suit because it's all bloody, but he's wearing it. But it just the first story is revolves around a mother and her son.
Daughter.
And her son
Daughter.
keeps saying, you know, when's Santa gonna come? And this fucking psycho comes across their house. So when Santa comes up to his window, the kid's all happy and lets him in. Of course, you know what happens next.
Right.
He's here, Mummy. I let him in. It's Santa.
It's not terribly scary. For me, it was, because Tales from the Crypt, 1972's Tales from the Crypt, I saw that in a movie theater in my before I was a teenager. So it was a double feature. It was this one and then House That Dripped Blood, and I had nightmares for months. My parents were so pissed off because I told them I was going to see something else.
Back here, Dan.
You know, like all kids, I lied.
I ain't lying.
And I think that's where I really got, you know, this is the first time a horror movie just terrified me. But it was at this point that it also kind of interested me. So, Tales of the Crypt.
I think Tales of the Crypt, 1972, is horrifying.
Tales from the Crypt.
And there's, I saw it when I was a kid too, but I just remembered. And this isn't the Christmas episode, but what's that one scene that guy's trapped in that house with that dog, and there's like the walls with razor blades everywhere?
Oh God!
What episode is that? That creeped me out.
I don't remember all the tales. I mean, there's like five different stories. It's an anthology movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember them all, but I do remember the guy that had to run down a corridor with razor blades sticking out of the wall.
Yeah.
While you're like, okay, you know what? That's not that terrible. If I turn sideways, I can fit. But they turn the fucking lights off on him, and then they send a dog after him.
Death lives.
So he winds up getting all sliced up.
So fuck.
This movie is also the first zombie movie I ever saw. There was an episode with, I think Peter Cushing was playing the guy. This rich guy living in a mansion hates his poor neighbor who's across the street who has like a bunch of dogs, and the guy winds up having the police remove all the dogs. I mean, you see a couple arguments, and I'm telling you what, the rich guy's just a piece of shit in this movie. He really is. But Peter Cushing winds up dying, but he comes back from the dead to kill this guy. And I will never forget this scene because this is a scene where I almost got up and left the movie because his father comes in and sees his son's dead and there's a big hole in his chest and he's reading this note, unraveling the paper, and there's a fucking still beating heart. You know, sitting there going,
I remember
dum,
that.
dum. That scared the piss out of me.
Death lives.
Well, even in that Christmas episode, that's Joan Collins in it, right?
Yeah.
Rated PG.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was an all-star cast. Because back then, all the people, even if you had a big name, you were in just about any movie that the studio was putting out. I think that's back when they still had contracts. Hey, you're going to do 7 movies for us. End of the story.
Right.
The old days of Hollywood.
And then, of course, they remade that episode, the Christmas episode. Robert Zemeckis, director of Forrest Gump, remade it for Tales from the Crypt on HBO.
I didn't even know that, and I never seen it.
And the killer, I forget who's in it. Stars Larry Drake, the bad guy from Darkman, and the guy from L.A. Law, plays Santa Claus. And it's just as good as the other one, only, better camera work, I guess. Actually, the 70s camera work looks better, and I like the location that it takes place in with Joan Collins, because it has that 70s vibe, the furniture and everything. And I believe it's more letterbox the way it's shot, as far as, the other one's shot for TV. As far as the aspect ratio goes, so the 70s one actually looks better to me. Right. But I like seeing Joan Collins scared in that movie. I believe she was pretty sexy looking in that film, too.
Yeah, this was back in her day.
Right.
Hey,
man, here's the one.
Oh, she got murdered her husband. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Joan Collins murdered her drunken-ass cheating husband.
I can stop drinking.
And the boy didn't know.
Daughter.
And then the killer shows up.
Right.
Wow.
It's good shit, dude.
But here's the other one, of course, Gremlins, which came out in '84. And I know it's not gory. But
I don't consider Gremlins a horror movie. That's just a damn good movie.
I kind of consider it a horror movie. Definitely.
Do you?
Gremlins, monsters, they're killing people, Dan.
Yeah, but they were so cute.
Yeah. Well,
at first.
But that came out in '84, so I was still pretty young. I don't know if I should date myself on the podcast, but anyway, I remember seeing that movie, and I remember seeing it, I think, with my mom, and it felt very controversial because they talk about Dad dying and him finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real, and I was still kind of at this age where I'm just like looking at my mom, going like, "Yeah, I fucking know Santa Claus ain't real." Or like, I don't know, it just seemed weird. I never saw in a movie on the big screen where they openly talked about Santa Claus not being real.
He was dressed in a Santa Claus suit. He'd been climbing down the chimney on Christmas Eve. His arms loaded with presents. He was going to surprise us. He slipped and broke his neck. Died instantly. And that's how I found out there was no Santa Claus.
Well, yeah, when you're young, that would be that would fuck with you.
Especially in a PG movie. I was just like, oh, this is weird. I was like, oh, wow, I guess it's out now.
Yep.
Everybody knows. Okay, it's official.
If you see a Santa, it's going to be killing time.
Dialogue after this movie is going to be intense, yo. It's going to be fucking riots. But
let's talk about. Oh no! If you're not done with Gremlins, go ahead.
Oh no, I think I'm done with Gremlins. Everyone knows about Gremlins. Awesome movie. They're making. Oh, do they know this though? They're making Gremlins 3, and
I heard rumor.
Yeah, and it's going to be Gremlins 3. It's not going to be a reboot.
That's a good thing, I think.
I think so too. We'll see.
So, all right. So there's a ton of movies out there that aren't really about Christmas, but they just take place on like Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, that type of thing.
Right.
There's a lot of different ones. Kevin and I have our favorite movie, Inside. That happens on, what was it, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
That happens, yeah, I guess it's on Christmas Eve, I believe.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Inside yet, listen to the podcast and watch it.
Oh, you gotta watch that with your family.
You're gonna hate us. Yeah. When you got Aunt Joan and Uncle Bill there, yeah, they're gonna love it.
It's called Inside because it's about what's inside the Christmas box. Yeah.
You want to call that a Christmas box?
Right.
That's really sick.
Inside
what else do we got?
is one of the best home invasion movies ever made.
Yes.
We also have the great Christmas film Prometheus.
Which, you know what, it never even occurred to me until I saw it. I'm like, oh wait, there was a scene with a Christmas tree.
Yeah, he's decorating a Christmas tree, and it does seem to. I think there is some sort of relevance to it that Ridley's trying to make about the birth of a new species happening and what happened to the engineers. There's just like subtext that he's working on. There's a reason it takes place on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, the whole story of Prometheus is really, as far as they're concerned, finding the engineers, they're finding God.
Right.
So, hey, Christmas, God. You ever want to piss a Christian off? Go, hey, what's Christmas? And then they'll tell you, like, no, I thought it was Santa Claus's birthday.
I don't know if this one would piss off a Christian or entertain a Christian, but this one's great. The Day of the Beast.
Day of the Beast.
From Alex de la Iglesia. Iglesia, who also directed Last Circus and Witching and Bitching, and what else? Action Mutante.
Oh my God! You know what?
This
You got to do a
guy
podcast
fucking
on that
rocks.
show one day.
Yeah, bro. Where's pull on the brakes, dude? Fuck this Christmas show. We're gonna talk about this guy.
No kidding. He's done a lot.
This filmmaker is unique and original and deserves way more attention, especially for sticking to it. It'd be so easy for him to change his game and try and make something more successful or like more easy to accept, something that people would like better.
Because the things I'm working on don't need an audience.
No, that's not his style.
We do have to talk
His
about
movies are, yeah, we're going to have to do a podcast. I would say let's do it about him because not a lot of people know him. And I can even throw out a couple of his movie titles that people should know, and people still don't know about him. I'm just like, wow, you guys are missing out on some really good movies.
Yeah.
Day of the Beast is one of my favorites, followed by Action Mutante.
Right. So Day of the Beast, 1995. It's about a heavy metal fan and a psychic who help a priest to seek an infant antichrist in Madrid on Christmas. To stop the coming of the Antichrist. Yeah. And in order to do that, they have to create sins, right? Or something to get close to the Antichrist?
Yeah, the only way the priest can get close to the Antichrist is he has to break every rule. He has to commit every sin possible.
Hilarious.
And it's fucking funny because he's kind of an elderly, goofy guy. So you get to see him. He's stealing shit.
Yeah, this is funny. The whole movie is funny, too. And it's in Spanish. Is that correct? It's Mexican, right?
It's in Spanish, but you can easily find it with subtitles.
And I don't think this movie
got it on DVD.
would piss off Christians, actually. I don't think it would.
No, not this movie.
It's cute, and it's fun. It's gory. I mean, it's definitely R-rated, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's fun, and it has a good heart at it. They're definitely poking fun at it, and I don't think they get too religious. They don't like shit on any religion or anything. Just like
no, about as religious as it gets is the simple fact that you're dealing with a priest who's doing what he has to get close to stop the Antichrist.
Right.
I mean, there's like only one scene in a church, which is at the beginning of the movie, and it's the best scene ever.
Yeah.
Where one priest is telling the other, telling the priest that's going to go on this journey. What's happening, and we don't get to hear what they say because there's like church bells go off, and then all of a sudden this gigantic wooden cross just peeks over and smashes the guy.
Right. Oh, that's the bomb. Yeah, that's right in the opening.
It's right in the opening of the movie. When I saw that, I'm just like, oh shit, we're in for a ride.
I remember the first time I saw that scene, and I was over at your old pad in San Diego, and you showed me the opening of the guy getting mashed by the cross. I was like, hell yeah, where's my copy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie's rocking. I want to rewatch that. Well, that's good for our listeners, though. We recommended really two good titles strongly there. Better Watch Out and The Day of the Beast out of this podcast. Those two you should run out and check out. You'll dig them for sure. Other weird movies that take place on Christmas that we found out by accident kind of looking through this stuff. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Maniac Cop 2. Go. Friday After Next. Less Than Zero. That's kind of a weird Christmas
I've never
movie.
heard of that one.
What, Go?
Less Than Zero.
Less Than Zero? That's the one where Robert Downey Jr. is sucking dick for crack.
Double trouble.
I need these things!
Yeah, I'm really glad I haven't seen that movie.
I haven't seen that movie either, actually. I turned it off. John Waters' Female Trouble. The movie Stalled. Also the film P2 that takes place in the parking lot. Those are all weird.
Oh,
I just...
Huh? You said Stalled. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you this. As a zombie movie, you're going to love it, but it's really not that great of a movie. But at the same time, you're going to love it. It was kind of stupid.
I think Stalled's pretty cool, actually, too. Yeah. If you're a student filmmaker, I think you'll like it. It's interesting to me because it takes place. It almost seems like a student film or like an assignment that you'd give a student. Like write a story that takes place in one location, with a limited crew, because it does take place in a bathroom. It's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, most of the movie does. Yeah, it's a Christmas party, and a dude gets stuck in a women's bathroom, no less, and it's an all-out zombie attack. I mean, it's just fucking great.
The zombies
in your toilet!
Look, just grab your bra, pull your finger out, and get us out of here.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It is kind of hard to recommend to certain people because it's kind of acquired taste. It is, well, like
if you like,
it takes place
horror
in a
movies,
bathroom
you're
the
gonna
whole
like
time.
Yeah, yeah, but it's kind of funny.
And it's
'cause,
funny.
You know, there's somebody else trapped in there. He has a chance to save her, but he doesn't.
Right.
She gets tore up. You know, and he's just like, oh well. I don't know. It's hard to recommend, but if you like zombie movies, if you like horror movies, you'll get it. But you're right.
No,
it
it's
is
one
kind
of
a
those
student
though.
film.
If you're having one of those nights and you're just going through Amazon Prime or one of those streaming things, you don't know what to do, and Stalled pops up kind of by accident, and you watch it like we did, it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable ride.
I'd found the trailer for it on YouTube well before I found it on streaming. But when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I got to. I just have to. Well, how bad can it be?
Yeah.
Well, it was better than Zombies.
It's like a skit that they turned into a movie or something, you know? It's like an SNL skit turned into a horror
You could
film.
do this on a stage,
right?
Because it's all in one. You know, you got the office scenes, and then it all happens in the bathroom.
Mm.
Since we're talking about that, have you ever seen Silent Night, Zombie Night?
No, I assume you have, right?
Yeah, I like to say that I can forget about it. It's this was not a good movie.
I don't think so.
As a matter of fact, this is one of those movies that
Dude,
if I could jump in with a
heard
stick,
of
I
it.
would beat people.
If I haven't heard of it, it's got to be bad, I think. I mean...
All right, but I spent all my time digging up zombie information. So, you know, what's coming out in zombie movies?
I know, and you never told me about it, so it must be bad.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. You know what? I would watch Zombies before I watch this one again.
Yikes.
That's how fucking bad it is.
So what is it? Silent Night, Zombie Night? It's not a bad title.
It's Christmas.
Uh-huh.
No, it's a great title. But it's really about a husband, wife, and some neighbors who get trapped in their house because the zombie apocalypse happens. And they want to try to get over to the parents' house where the kids are. But the dialogue is bad, the acting is bad, and the people are just so moronic that you want to beat them up. You know, there was a neighbor that was involved, and I was just like, first off, he was creepy toward the chick, but I was just like, how much longer till this guy dies? Because he's really making me angry. He's making me angry because of bad acting. That's all I really want to talk about that movie. It was just so fucking horrible.
Well, what about the zombies?
No. They obviously didn't have a makeup budget.
No.
You know, I get that. It's a low budget film. I'll give you that. But you just fucked it up. Good idea, bad execution.
Have you ever seen Don't Open Till Christmas? Or
I know I've seen the poster.
Yeah.
I can't honestly tell you if I've ever seen the movie or not.
I haven't seen that one or Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, 1972.
Oh yeah, 1972. That's actually a good one. This is one that you would enjoy, I think. If you liked, Tales from the Crypt and more than that, if you like Black Christmas, this isn't as good as Black Christmas, but it's worth watching. I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I think one of the reasons that I like those movies is the film texture, or just the quality of it. That 70s film.
Wasn't it like it was 72 millimeter film back then, right?
This is I was shot in 1972. You mean 70 millimeter? I'm not sure.
70 millimeter. Shit, I had to add the extra 2 inches, dude.
But it was shot in 1972, so you're kind of like you're getting your movie trivia mixed up. That's all.
I know. Yeah, film looked a lot different back then.
Yeah,
there was a different feel to it. So.
And then some other new ones that I haven't seen called Good Tidings, and one called Red Christmas that looks really bad. And then this other one that you were talking to me about, Christmas Cruelty. I tried to watch that. I thought that looked awful.
I haven't bothered with it.
It looks like shot on video, like one of those violent shit movies or something. To me, it looked like that.
That's what the trailer looked like to me too.
I couldn't get into
it, so
it.
I ignored it.
Yeah, I'm getting too old for that crap.
Calm down now and go to sleep.
Nah.
I did like it back in the day, but now there's no reason for it to look that way. It's like, come on, man, just get an extra.
No, everything's digital.
Yeah.
Why are you shooting with VHS cameras?
It's a little more extra money.
Or if you did do a digital, why'd you try to make it look like a VHS movie?
Right.
those movies never looked good.
Yep.
Can't they get to the point?
Yeah.
Wow, we just talked about a shitload of fucking Christmas movies.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap for today's show. I don't know why I sounded really excited there, but apparently I got some gifts to unwrap.
You're yelling again.
All right, everybody. Happy holidays. Good tidings and good cheer. Warm hearts and cold beer.
And a very happy new year.
Oh, that was a perfect ending. All right, everyone, we're out of here.
I know.
Does it come with a happy ending? Sorry, we can't guarantee that.
Kids today, so desensitized by movies and television.